Shalom, giving all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation as always to the elect. And this article was just sent to me. And it's from spoonuniversity.com. It says how lobster went from prison food to an expensive delicacy. All right. And if you know, especially amongst our people, but amongst this world period, if you're eating lobster, all right, then you are thought to be on a higher level, all right, have some sort of rank in this world. And if you go to any social media account of particular people who aren't in this truth, okay, Israelites, all right, people who don't know they're in the Gentile state of mind, you'll notice that on each of their pages, eventually you'll run across seeing some sort of abomination posted because everything has been turned upside down. Okay, but there was a point where this now delicacy was considered prison food. Okay, and we're going to read down. It says, I'm not sure about you, but lobster is a rare treat in my household. Okay, I mean, he eats it, whoever wrote the article, because it's so expensive. Okay, just look at Luke's Lobster. They charge $16 for a fairly small Maine style lobster roll. Okay, however, lobster roll. Honestly, who wants to pay all that for a minuscule amount of meat? God damn, lobster sandwiches. It says, but let me tell you that the lobster I often longed for wasn't such a rare delicacy back in the day. It said actually it was much less than that cause, and it was considered straight up garbage because it is straight up garbage to eat. Now, of course, lobsters in the sea, they have their role. All right. And see what's happening in this world. One of the main reasons why the world is polluted is because everything that the Lord created, okay, to clean the waters that have a particular role in keeping the pH balance of the waters together and keep everything leveled out, are being overfished and fed to people as delicacies. It's equivalent to you taking your vacuum bag, okay, cutting it open and putting it in the oven. Okay, these things, pigs, all right, sea creatures, lobsters, clams, all of these things that people pride themselves in eating, all right, are not supposed to be eaten. And this is what causes sickness. Okay, this is what causes sickness, mainly amongst you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because your genetic makeup, all right, you're supposed to keep the laws, man. As you can see, Esau, Edom, they can thrive in filth, man. The Moabites, they can thrive in eating these filthy abominations. Although some of these things affect some of these heathen nations, Esau, Edom, and a lot of these heathen, they're able to thrive while eating these foods, while you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you eat it and you absolutely go backwards, man. Okay? Because you're under the covenant, you're under the law. Okay? It says at one point it was considered garbage. It says, so how did lobster go from complete crap to a fine dinner that elite eat, you ask? Well, to find out, you're going to have to hear some history. And thanks to Business Insider and History Channel, we got the scoop. It says, here we go. Back when the first European settlers came over to North America, they said that there were just so many dang lobsters that they would all pile up 2 feet high and wash ashore in Massachusetts Bay Colony. All right. It says, and instead of this leading to seafood festivals and celebrations like clam bake, all right, and that's how you know we're in the land of sin. Sin is pretty much put on the forefront, all right, and for everyone to practice and do as they will, even in diet and sex, in everyday affairs. Okay, which leads to a state of confusion and darkness, man. Okay. It says colonists were just super embarrassed by by all of what they call the cockroach of the sea, and that's ultimately what they are. Okay, the cockroach and the lobster are pretty much of the same family line. Okay, you just have one that's built for the land. Roaches have a role in the earth to help keep things clean. If you notice, roaches are always where filth is, right? Well, ultimately, that's what the crab and lobster does in the sea. Okay, it says these hard shell creatures were even used as fertilizer in fish bait. All right, because they were just there were just so many around. Lobster was known as the poor man's meal because the overabundance of these guys made it easy for people with no money to get their protein. In fact, these crustaceans were fed to prisoners, apprentices, and slaves. You see, they fed you slaves because that was one of the first things Esau did. You know, once he got our people, is he changed their diet. Okay, he made sure he put as much filth in your diet as possible because he know that detaches you from your power, man. If your physical temple is all thrown off, okay, and filled with abominations, well, what follows? Parasites, particular worms, okay, and a dumbed down mindset, okay, and that's ultimately what's happening all around the world. If you look where our people are, the food that's readily available to them is full of abominations. Human DNA is found in the meats, okay, horse meat, everything, which is abomination to eat, man. But real quick, I wanted to look up benefits of lobsters in the water. Let's see if we can find something. I just thought that because the Most High is perfect. Everything that was created for a purpose, man. Okay, lobsters in sea ecosystem. See if we can find something. Why are lobsters so important to the ecosystem? See if we can find it. It says lobsters are the focus of value fisheries worldwide. Yada yada yada. That's not what I'm looking for. They talking about the nutrition, man. Let's see. See if we can find it here. Uh, everyone has their role to play. The California spiny lobster is no exception. Similar to the role of sea otters play in kelp forest in Central California, limiting sea urchin abundance and subsequently allowing kelp forests to thrive. California spiny lobster, also an important predator in sea urchins in Southern California, help to maintain a balanced ecosystem. All right. Let's see here. That's not what I'm looking for. That's a good one. But let's see here. Let's see. Let's just type in lobsters cleaning the water. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Do lobsters clean the oceans? Lobsters are. Let's see. Do lobsters do what do? Let's see. Yep. Some sea lobsters scavenge for giant dead animals like whales. So basically, just as you have fowls within, if that the Lord created, like the turkey vulture or vultures or different, unclean fowls to basically go around the earth or particular areas and finding dead things, and they eat those things, which basically keeps the ecosystem clean. Well, in the water, that's one of the roles of the lobster, man. Okay, they eat fish, worms, okay, dead shrimps. They eat dead things. Okay, they eat dead things, man. But this is the one that goes into actually God's dietary law. It said why pigs, crabs, and lobsters are bad for you. Okay. God's dietary law prohibits eating carnivorous animals, just as God created clean animals for food or byproducts that humans could use. All right. He created unclean animals for other reasons. Carnivores are prey animals that help control the populations for other animals. All right, such as the case with mountain lion and wolves who keep deer populations in check. This helps keep the deer population down and weeds out of the old and sick members of the herd naturally. Okay, this is just one reason why we should not eat carnivores, and sick animals could transmit disease. Okay, Leviticus 11:7 through 8 and Deuteronomy 14 and 8 mention specifically that pigs are unclean. Okay, now going into the pigs, it says fish. You can read about why pigs are unclean as well. All right. In Leviticus, the laws concerning aquatic, meaning in the water, creatures are addressed. These you may eat of all there in the waters, whether in the waters has whatever in the water has fins and scales. All right. It says science reveals what may have been God's reason for declaring certain sea creatures unfit for human consumption. Clean fish are those that swim in bodies of water, while unclean life, all right, comprise mostly of predatory scavengers or bottom dwellers, things that die and fall to the bottom. These things are put there to eat them, man. It says the fish and sea life that do the fish and sea life that do the ocean cleaning are full of toxins and can be harmful to human health. All right. Poisonous fish are generously covered in bristles, spiny scales, thorns, or spines, and do not have any true scales. Okay? Even though biblical dietary laws would have us to eat the safest fish, we must also still be very careful because Esau Edom has poisoned every damn thing. Everything's full of mercury. Many of these fish are now polluted with heavy metals, and the health and balance of ocean ecosystem becomes disrupted mostly due to overfishing, toxic chemical spills, and pollution. Okay, what about shellfish, crabs, and lobster? Shellfish, such as crab and lobster, do not have fins and scales and therefore prohibited for human consumption under the biblical dietary laws, which was given to the Israelites. Now, in the kingdom, all nations will have to follow these laws. But why do you think you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are at the very bottom health-wise? Well, look at the standard diet, okay, amongst your culture. It's full of abominations, man. And this makes you a low-level thinker, okay, and you're not at all connected in spirit, all right, with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai when you eat these things, man. You have parasites all over your body, your brain, okay, which are sucking all of the nutrients out of your damn body, man. And you turn it into a damn zombie, man. It says, however, shellfish is a multi-billion-dollar business, and eating such aquatic life considered a delicacy in most parts of the world. We know that everything God created has a purpose. So what is the purpose of shellfish? Okay, lobsters are nocturnal bottom walkers and scavengers that scavenge for dead animals and debris on the ocean floor. They are like the vultures of the ocean. You see that? They're the vultures of the ocean. So just as you have vultures that go around the earth eating dead animals, like we had a debate, with these guys about the turkey vulture. Well, the turkey vulture and the domestic vulture are two totally different species. The only thing they have in common is how their head look, and that they both have that name turkey attached to them, but they're not even in the same family. The turkey is actually the domestic turkey is actually in the same family as the quail and the chicken, which you can't eat those. But people not doing study are now pushing this madness that turkey is a vulture when the turkey vulture is the one that flies in the sky waiting for something to die and comes down and cleans the earth. That's why it's not prohibited to eat. But people have to study, okay? But the lobster is known as what? The vulture of the ocean, man. Okay? And you can look up the role of vultures, okay, in the ecosystem and clearly see that without them, diseases spread, man. But you wouldn't eat what eats the diseased, right? But that's what is happening in this world, man. Lobsters have been seen burying dead fish and digging them up a little at a time to eat. Crabs will eat just about anything and are known as professional garbage hunters. You see that? They're professional garbage hunters, man. Okay? So the Lord created them for their purpose, man, to keep the water clean. The Encyclopedia of Aquatic Life tells us that crabs, common shrimps, and lobsters all feed off of dead and decaying matter. Therein lies their occupation. They were created to be the cleanup crew for the bottom of lakes and rivers and oceans. They were not entitled to be eaten by human beings. You Israelites, that the laws were given unto you. Eating raw and undercooked crab, crayfish, and shrimp or snails puts anyone at risk for severe parasitic infection. And that's ultimately what you see happening around the whole world. All right. It's mainly here in America. Pretty much everyone has all these parasites in their body and in their brain, man. And, the water Yahweh Shem Shah that we've waken up to this truth. We even have these things. And this is why we have to do our best to cleanse our physical temple, man. Being the spiritual temple, all right, our body, we have to make sure that we do what we can. And diet is very important in connecting with your power, man. Okay, and Esau, Edom makes sure that all of these unclean things are in things that are lawful. So we're really at a point where we just need our power to come back. Now, going back to this article, okay, this was fed at one point to slaves and prisoners. Now it's on every Instagram, and it's at the top. It's the top dish you can get in the world, man. Okay. However, this all started to change mid 1800s because of canned food and trains. Everything is just turned upside down, man. Lobster actually became one of the most popular canned products on the market. And although canned lobster doesn't sound too fresh and appealing to me, I guess you got to do what you got to do. The Let's see here. After world, it says this made fresh lobster become even more popular, and because of this new demand in the 1880s, restaurants and markets were able to mark up the prices. So by World War II, lobster was considered a delicacy, and as a result, was once a poor man's food became affordable to them richer peeps. All right. This is Isaiah 29 and 16. It says, "Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? For shall the thing framed of him that framed it, said he had no understanding?" And that's what Esau does with the Lord. He promotes around the world that you can do as you will, and basically no one has to adhere to the laws that God set, which the laws were divinely inspired. They were given, all right, and written on stone by the right hand of the Most High, onto the stone, and given to Moses to give to the Israelites. So this is the instruction of the heavens, and now we're living in a time where those instructions are openly being opposed, and look what it's led to. That's why we need to get back into power, man. Okay, the broth of abominable things that are entering into our people's vessels, man, have taken them, all right, all the way back, man. Okay, and this goes way back. Isaiah 65:2. "I will spread out my hands all day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that is not good, after their own thoughts," man. And how they view sex, how they view diet, how they view life, how they view relationships, how they view order. It's after their own thoughts, which is based on emptiness, man. "A people that provoked me to anger continually to my face, and that sacrifice in the gardens and burning incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves," going back to those ancient practices of how they were worshiping those other gods, "and lodge in the monuments, and eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things in their vessels," man. Okay? I never looked up. Let me see what a commentary says on this real quick. Broths made of swine's flesh and other sorts of flesh, which were unclean by law. That's gumbo. And we're living in and these are this time is where that gumbo and all of these unclean foods are boasted in, man. Thanksgiving, Christmas, you know. Um, it says, let's go down. Stewed, abominable by law, they were put into pots and stewed and made broth. That's gumbo. So there's nothing new under the sun, which they drank. Spencer O thinks the milk, which were the kids were boy, yada yada yada. You know, but this was the what the Israelites were doing, you know, back then. And they say, which say, stand by thyself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose and a fire that burneth all day. The Lord does not like that wicked mind frame, man. And when you read Isaiah 66, you got these Christians that say, well, you can eat what the hell you want to eat. Well, when the Lord comes back, those people who openly oppose his laws, even after hearing, you know, that it was wrong to do by the mouth of the prophets and who are living these sinful lifestyles and not repenting, Isaiah 66 and 15, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed altogether, saith the Lord. And this is going to happen. This is a future prophecy of what's coming when the Lord returns. So you got these guys like Vocab Malone and the rest of these Christians who, you know, are just going around the earth telling Israelites, well, you don't have to keep God's laws and that we're wrong for promoting to our people to stop eating these things that's destroying their insides. Because if you look at our parents and your grandparents, man, they all suffered later in their lives from eating these abominations, man. So what we're doing is telling our people to turn from these things which defile your temple, man. Okay, literally, we are the temple of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. You can't have a relationship with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but then fill your things with abominations and think that, well, now we're under grace. See, we're under grace, but the grace was not a time period for you to just do what the hell you wanted to do. Okay, you can't cast the law behind your back because you're under grace. Okay, now you're not saved by keeping the laws, but during this grace period, you are to do what you can within your power to do, okay, to show works that go into repentance. Because what is sin? Transgression of the law. What law? The laws that were written on stone given to the Israelites, man. Okay, so living these sinful lifestyles has led to decay, not only in your mental, your spirit, your physical. All right. But lobster was not really, it's not a delicacy. It's really a base poor man's diet, man. Okay. And now it's at the forefront of every Instagram, YouTube video. You got a woman who does YouTube videos where she just eats lobsters, man, giant lobsters, and gets paid damn near $1 million a year for it. You see? But that type of folly is being uplifted, man. Folly is set in great dignity, man, even in diet, man. So, hey, the laws of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua are pure, man. And everything he does makes sense, man. Everything has a purpose, all right? And when we get back in power, we're going to place everything back in its purpose, man. Shalom.